Okay, good morning everybody. Welcome to Cabinet, 26th of May. Can I first of all welcome the new Cabinet support members and the existing Cabinet support member, and welcome to the new scrutiny commissioners. Remember, this is being broadcast as usual live via the County Council's website, and it'll be archived so you can view it later. Normal stuff, microphones on when you're speaking, off when you're not. So straight on to apologies for absence, and we don't have any. Number one is minutes. I move that minutes of the meeting held on the 1st of May 2018 are taken as read, confirmed and signed. Is that agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Urgent items, none. Declarations of interest? None. Provisional revenue and capital outturn. These are on pages 9 to 48. Report sets out the revenue and capital outturn and seeks our approval for additional commitments and some revisions to the 18-19 revenue budget. Chris Tambini, Director of Corporate Resources, will present the report, and then I'll be calling Byron. Are you doing it, Chris, or Declan? Okay, over to you, Chris.
Yeah. Overall, is a very positive picture with a revenue underspend of a little over £10 million for last year. The reasons are set out in the report, but the key ones are, the first one is efficiencies made early. We do have proper medium-term financial planning in the authority, and this means the department has done a good job in terms of making efficiency savings slightly earlier than expected. The second key reason is that adult social care have made good progress in terms of containing demand pressures, and that contributed to a departmental underspend of £5.5 million for last year. It's not all good news. Last year, the children's social care budget overspent by nearly £5 million, and that's mainly a result of increased numbers of children in care. If you look over the previous kind of 4 or 5 years, numbers have grown by around 7% per annum. So that means that since 2012, there's been nearly a 50% increase in the number of children in care. The overspend also includes investment in the service following the Ofsted inspection last year. Paragraph 52 sets out the proposed allocation of the £10 million underspend, and the two main areas are £3 million for highways, and that's to improve response times around potholes and also managing schools' parking issues. The other key element is £6.4 million for future capital schemes. The demand for capital schemes is growing significantly, and there's a big long list of those schemes. It includes things like investment in IT, a potential new records office, the Melton Mowbray new distributor road, and speed cameras, but there are other schemes as well, so that will be put aside for those types of schemes. The second bit of positive news relates to the income from the Corporate Asset Investment Fund. It was always envisaged that we would use income from that fund to invest in frontline services. We're now confident enough in income flows to invest £5 million, or propose the investment of £5 million, to improve the condition of the highway, and that follows the particularly harsh winter we've just had. The report also sets out the capital outturn, and again there's a positive picture of £93 million worth of investment last year. The key achievements are set out in the report, and they include investment in new school places and also transportation. The actual largest element of the capital programme was the programme to replace LED street lights, and last year £68,000 new LED lights were replaced. So the programme is nearly completed. Although it does kind of put forward a fairly positive picture, I mean, I don't think I really need to remind members that there's still tough times ahead, with £50 million worth of savings required over the next 4 years. Which is going to require some fairly kind of hard decisions. The recommendations are set out in paragraph 2 of the report.
Thank you, Chris. Byron?
Yes, thank you, Leader. Yes, well, first of all, I'll move the motion on the Green Order Paper A2E under item 4. I mean, this is a very good result for us for the year, as for the reasons that Chris has set out, and it could so easily have been the other way if in fact some of our other services had not contained their costs as well as they've done, in particular adult social care. and great thanks to the management in there that they've done so well in doing that. Things are getting harder though. We still have 50 million to save from our budgets on the projections of income that we're expecting over the next 3 years, and our costs, our pressures are rising as demand is rising, both in adult care in the long term and most particularly in the shorter term in children's care. And I recently have gone through the budget's progress in some detail with directors and a number of services. I've got 2 more to do tomorrow, and it's clear to me that this year is more difficult than it was last year. But last year was produced a good result, and so I'm happy to, as I say, to move the motion and we move on into the future. Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm pleased to second that, and in essence, I think Byron and Chris have summed it up. There is good news here, that's great, but we cannot relax. There are still very hard things to do, and that in essence is where we are. And I agree with Byron. There are thanks to be given to those who work very, very hard to contain budgets. Thank you, Chairman.
Blake.
Thanks, Leader. I just want to speak to the proposal to invest 5 million into the highways budget, more specifically the road maintenance budget. First of all, can I just congratulate the team in the highways department for controlling the budgets as they have done. There's a net underspend of 1 million, but that includes an overspend of 1 million on winter maintenance this year. We've had a particularly harsh winter. I think everyone appreciates and realises that, and we've had to spend more money in that area. So it's particularly pleasing that the department's managed to control budgets elsewhere and come out with a net underspend. However, because of the harsh winter and ongoing issues with regards to the road maintenance, Leicestershire Roads does need some investment. We're due to receive a reduction of about £7 million from central government in funding towards our roads over the medium term up until 2020. And we've identified in the department that if we can invest about 8 million into our roads year on year through the medium-term financial strategy, we can begin to take a more preventative approach to road maintenance. So can I thank the lead member for resources for finding the money, especially through the Capital Asset Management Fund. That's proving its worth now. Congratulate the officers for being tight on the cost control, because without that we would not be able to propose the programme that got to repatch Leicestershire roads. This isn't just about filling potholes, this is about repatching segments of Leicestershire roads so we can get ourselves into a more preventative form of maintenance rather than reactive, and I'm really pleased that this proposal's here and I fully support it. Thank you, Leader.
Excuse me, can I also thank Byron for the good work he's done with the Capital Asset Investment Fund that's enabled us to put money into the highways budget. It will be greatly appreciated, certainly out where I live. Can I also congratulate Richard and the Adult Social Care Department for making a saving? But remember, we must still remember we're still spending £131 million in there, so a 5 million saving is welcome. But when you look at the budgets, although he's making savings this year, Byron tells me the budgets are tightening, the savings won't be so great going forward. So it's something we do need to keep a very, very close eye on, because it is our single biggest area of expenditure. But thanks for the work you've done, Rich, saving in there 5 million, because of course yet again we've had to help out Ivan, who hasn't done quite so well, but he is telling me that he's trying his best. But another thing worth noting is, of course, we're spending £66 million on children's services, so we've got huge numbers and small variances at the edges, which are one's helping the other out. But if Richard doesn't make the savings, we'll still have the incredible pressures in children's services going forward. So we need to bear in mind, although we've had a good year, as Byron's pointed out, things are going to get increasingly tougher, and we've still got massive amounts of difficult decisions to make and savings to identify. So Byron has moved the recommendations. Richard has seconded them. I have no other speakers, so can I call for a vote in favour, please? Thank you. Moving on, membership of UK 100. This report concerns UK 100, a network of UK cities and other local authorities, areas committed to 100% clean energy. It connects leaders and authorities with similar ambitions to share best practice and develop locally based solutions to the challenge of moving away from fossil fuels. It is proposed that the County Council join the 70 plus authorities that have already signed up. Anne, you're going to introduce this, and then I'm going to call Blake to say a few words. Okay, Anne.
Morning. Yes, we're seeking Cabinet support to sign up to UK 100, which, as the leader has already said, is a partnership of local authorities across the country committed to clean energy by 2050. If Cabinet does approve, what we will do is work across the Council to ensure that as strategies are revised, that we've got appropriate actions and targets in there commensurate with that commitment. And we'll also seek to work with the business community to make sure that we're supporting them in doing what they can towards that target of clean energy. This would align with the environmental objectives of our strategic plan, fully aligned to that. And the benefits of joining a network like this are that networking, sharing good practice, benchmarking, influence nationally and across this agenda, and obviously a focus for our own activities. So, you know, in theory, it makes a lot of good sense there. So we're seeking Cabinet support to sign up to that network. Thank you, Chair.
Blake.
Yes, again, Leader, thank you, because I know this has come through you. It's something that you're quite keen for us to get involved with, and it falls within the department to deliver the objectives. I think we've got a good story to tell when it comes to clean energy and our ambition to reduce our CO2 emissions. We've spoken about our solar panels on the roofs, the change of the LED lightings across the 68,000 streetlights in Leicestershire. We've got a new biomass facility that generates energy for this building, and there are all sorts of other projects. The report does contain some specific data and metrics in relation to how far we've come, but I think this is a worthwhile entity to get involved with. I think it's noble to have the objective of reducing our energy not reducing, but increasing our sustainable energy to 100% by 2050. So I'm more than happy to play my part as lead member for the department in overseeing how we're going to achieve this. So happy to support, Leader.
Thank you. And as Blake says, it was something I was particularly keen on. I'm happy to second it. Clean energy and keeping the planet and the air we breathe clean is of paramount importance to us all. And I was at a meeting yesterday down in London where the launch of the new Onward, it's called, and Michael Gove was speaking, and yet again he took the opportunity to talk about his environmental objectives, and I think our environmental objectives as an administration fit in with what Michael Gove was talking about. And just as a normal human being, I think we should all have environmental objectives. To be able to breathe clean air is of paramount importance. So I'm very, very happy to second it, and I hope Cabinet support it. So I have no other speakers. Can I ask for a show of hands, please? Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Blake. Items referred from overview and scrutiny, we have none, and I have no items which I've decided to take as urgent, so that concludes the meeting. Thank you.